Okay, you guys, what is up? The King of Lightning is here today. Very, very, very tired, fatigued, groggy. To do Magi, the Labyrinth of Magic, chapter 220 review. That is 220 of Magi. Now, first of all, I do want to say that because I'm so tired right now, I'm really trudging through the mud. I usually am because I spent almost all day on campus doing so much math. You have no idea. Hours upon hours upon hours of math. And I'm not even a mathematician. I'm studying engineering. But it's just, oh my god. Like every day, hashtag fuck my life. And I like it, but some of these calculations are beyond tedious. And they take hours just for one problem. You can just spend hours doing an inverse Laplace, and I'm like, ugh, just come on. But that's not the point here. The point here is that I'm tired. So you get what you get, and I really don't give a fuck about what you think. However, I do care about what you guys think about the chapter. And this chapter, fascinating. Well, first of all, it actually, we don't see them enter the actual, main battleship, the flagship. More or less, they're already there. And we never get to find out the name of Scarface. Basically, he's just some high-end magician. But we see now where Solon wants to go with this whole blending of the species and continuing the original set path of Elah and reaching Alma Torran, the utopia that the first humans who received magic promised to attain. That was their original goal, to attain Alma Torran. And obviously over the course of 800 years, that goal has just been, it's been thrown out the window. And we see the reason why. You see, it's very ironic how before 800 years ago, during that time span, before humans had attained magic, they were the weakest of the species. They were the weakest of the species by far. They were down to less than 1,000 humans in the entire world. And then they received magic. They were chosen by God, Elah. And then they were given the power to dominate over all other species. So the weakest species, last place dudes, all of a sudden jumped to first place. And what the other species are feeling at this point in time, especially, and this is what Agares pointed out, was, and I believe that that's his name, but I don't really, if I mess up his name, I don't really care. It is what it is. But I believe that he pointed out that it seems as if we, the other species, the Gorgons, the Hermits, the Hermits, I'm like, wait, that's a species? The Hermits? Just a bunch of old dudes. I'm like, yeah, how do you guys reproduce? Yo, I just thought about it. You remember how Amon was saying how he was giving birth, but he was an old ass dude? Oh no. Oh no. Yo, the Hermits. The only species that they're like the Namekians. They're like the Namekians in Dragon Ball. Yeah, there we go. Oh, I don't know if they spit out eggs, but old dudes giving childbirth is kind of weird. So is it yeah, why not? Let's get into details here. Is it the old dudes just give birth to other old dudes? Is that how the Hermits operate? Oh, that's nasty. That's grody, whatever. I want more details. Alright, I'm a sick fucker. I want more details. I really do. I want the specifics of the of the hermit species cycle of life and death. That's what I want. I want full-on details. But the thing here is this, though. It makes it seem as if, like, Eli has abandoned the other species because they were not given the power. And I think that it's been forgotten about how, well, not forgotten in general, but, well, maybe in general, but I believe that some people still know the terrors that humans face 800 years ago and plus. But after that point in time, humans took over. So the paradigm has completely shifted in humans' favor. So when Agres is acting, he's asking pretty much, so, like, what's the point? Like, even though you want us to join hands, what's the point if you guys are the most powerful? And you can see when he says that the rest of the Manticores, not really the Hermits or the Gorgons, because we barely got a view of the Hermits or the Gorgons, to be quite honest. Like, they were like small little panels. But you can see the face of the Manticore, and they were... You would honestly assume that they were falling into, like, depravity. Like, you could see their faces. Like, their faces were dull, their eyes were a deep, pitch black, and it seemed as if, like, they had no hope whatsoever. And then through Solomon's words, through his charisma, alright, he's able to actually give the Manticores, the Gorgons, and the Hermits hope. Not in the sense of God, but in the sense of themselves. And that's, I like that. Not in the sense of God, not in the sense of a higher being or a higher power, but in the sense of themselves and who they are and what they can bring to the table. And the fact that there are these commonalities between these species. And the main one that he actually pointed out in this chapter was love. The fact that species who can actually think for themselves, who actually are aware of their standing in the world, who have some level of intelligence, they hold dear the people who they find important, their loved ones, their children, their parents, and so on and so forth, their friends. And it is through this simple connection between magicians, humans in a sense, between humans, between the Manticore, between the Gorgon, between the Hermits, it is this connection that is the foundation of the motivation that we see in this chapter. Where after his speech, fists are raised, howls, cheers, cries, tears. The other species are truly moved because the hope that they had lost because God had forsaken them was returned to them by the words of this individual. So you can see that Solomon is truly magnetizing. And that to me is very obvious. It is as clear as day. As the grass green and the sky blue. And he is taking this divide that was between their species, meaning humans, and the other species. This divide that was ocean-wide, he's now bringing it together, making it a narrow canal to the point where it will be non-existent in the future. Where there will be no divide between the Manticore, the Gorgons, and whoever else exists. There will be a utopia. Not for humans, but for the entire world. And what's very cool about this is that he actually learned this. He learned the initial attentions of Eli through another species that knew humans before they attained magic. Because I'm pretty sure that the humans, once they attained magic, the initial humans were probably preaching via using their magic. They were talking about actually like uniting the species and making a utopia. But of course that fell off because in the sense of power, again, they were last place and all of a sudden they jumped to first place because they have so much power now. So in this sense, you really gotta like where Solomon is coming from. Because as someone who was born in a high position, when someone is normally born in that position of power, it is highly unlikely that they are willing to relinquish their privileges. And Solomon easily, well, let's not say easily because we don't know the full story, but Solomon was able to relinquish his position at a very early age. And you gotta respect that, because it takes a lot of balls. It really does. And the chapter ends off pretty much with them announcing, because I mean, like, we see Solomon again, like the Manticores, they're cheering, everyone's cheering. He is illuminating the lives of others. And we have Sheba, she's looking on with awe. Because, and I like it how at first she was disgusted, she was appalled. And now she is staring up at Solomon in complete awe. And the thing here is that there's a little text at the end of the chapter. And it says that there's going to be some, like, a miniature time skip. Where in which Solomon's going to be 17 now in the next chapter. So, quote-unquote, time has flowed. Okay, fine. So, the way it seems as if, like, for this arc, we're going to mainly focus on key moments when it comes to the main party. Sheba, Solomon, Wahid, Ugo. And by the way, Ugo can actually translate human tongue into other languages. So, Ugo, again, very intelligent, showcasing his intelligence. And so basically, like, there's going to be a small little time skip within the flashback itself. Okay, fine, fair enough. So, and I never expected to actually get, like, full details about Solomon's backstory. But we may revisit his childhood in a flashback within a flashback. So, which will be cool, because Solomon is a pretty cool guy. I can't deny that. And that being said, other things I want to point out. I want to point out that, you know, seeing Amon, and he's Amon. Seeing Amon, he's like coming in there with like a giant fire wave, and he blows up one of the ships. We see Agares, and he like the giant earth stalagmites. The Gorgon dude, I forgot his name. I think that he's actually, is he one of? Oh, I think he is one of Cohen's jinn. The fire one, I think. I'm not too sure. I forget. Yeah, I do. Also, we get to find out that apparently, there, like, that sphere that we saw like early on in this flashback when it came to Solomon, that sphere is like a isolation zone, where in which no magician can use any form of magic, not even a board. And I noticed, maybe I'm missing something here, but I don't see any Rook. I see Magoi control. I see a whole ton of it. And the fact that, again, their staves receive Magoi from Elah. I don't see any Rook. Like, there's no chirping, there's no nothing. So I'm starting to believe that Rook, and if I'm wrong, correct me, when Elah first came down to humans, and he gave the first humans magic and Magoi, was there Rook involved in that? Like, were there any birds? Because I don't remember any like Rook going on there. So that probably means that Solomon created Rook. Maybe. I don't know. I won't go that far because I'm trying to remember. Has there been any Rook? I don't know. I could be dead wrong. I really could, but we'll see. We'll see. Or we probably have already seen if there is Rook, or Rook has been shown in the flashback so far. I just don't recall it. So if there is, please in the comment section down below remind me. But I'm done. The chaptering overall, I liked it. It was a good chapter, a very heartwarming chapter. Solomon doing his thing, charisma up the wazoo, and he is actually able. I mean, think about it. You have a species, and we know that God exists. At least Elah exists. We know that. And they know that. And the fact that they know that in a certain sense, it can be perceived as if Elah has forsaken them. And knowing that they have fallen into like this depression, if you would, Solomon's able to bring them out with words alone. And like there's this whole notion of the power of words, which, you know, it makes sense. In this particular case, it makes perfect sense. So, but I'm done. The chapter overall, I'm gonna give Rating a good plus, and I will see you guys later. So, King Lightning, rate the video, comment, subscribe, peace. Have a nice day. Before I go, alright, I want to say one last thing, alright, an addendum to this video. I actually did wind up reading, like, that April Fool's, like, random, it was very random. Like, it was chapter 220. It was the same pages, but it was, like, some weird, like, thing. It was like they were in love with, like, it was Solomon speaking about his love for Sheba. And, it threw me off. I didn't read the entire thing, but it was clearly like some kind of like April Fool's thing going on there. And I know, yeah, today's April 1st. I don't really care. I don't. But I'm just saying that, like, yo, like it was weird. It was like, whoa, like Sheba and like Solomon's like, yeah, I want to marry. And it's like, what? And I don't know how to explain it. I skimmed through it. To be honest, there were some weird panels. I remember I saw like a page of like someone like completely like naked, like titties, like I don't know, man. But I remember reading that, and I did catch that. It was moderately funny, because at the time I knew that it was like some kind of like April Fool's thing going on there. But overall, I was like, you know what? I mean, it's whatevs. I don't have time for this. I don't have time for jokes. No time for games. So that's the way it is. All right, I'm done. Peace. Have a nice one.